Well, hello everyone. Ogre27 Kane here today, and we're going to do a review of Chrono, the Radical Dreamers edition for the Nintendo Switch. Let's do a brief overview and figure out what this game is all about. So this version not only comes with the original PS1 Classic, which was completely updated with HD graphics and upgraded music, but it also comes with Radical Dreamers, a game that was previously only released in Japan. This is an awesome conversion, and they went back and did some work since it released, and the battle system has been upgraded. It now runs at a good, smooth, solid frame rate. This game was one of a kind back in the day, and I did kind of do a mini review on it when I first started my channel, but it's time to really give it justice. Let's start with gameplay. So the gameplay in this is very much in line with most old PS1 RPGs. You have a very large world to explore, 2 of them in fact, and a very large cast of over 40 characters, with some playing a more integral role to the story than others, but all of them are fun in their own right, and they're all worth exploring and collecting. The cool thing about this game is it has a New Game Plus feature which allows you to go back and collect a lot of the characters you may have missed. There's also a ton of new additions as far as the battle system goes. It has a huge frame rate bump, so now it runs a lot more smoothly, even though the music's a little off, but you also have a lot of other enhancements that allow the game to function as a more modern game, we'll say. It's not something that I would recommend exploring for the first time if you're not familiar with the series, as it does play a huge piece and puzzle to Chrono Trigger itself, and I would recommend playing that game first. Some of the other features this game has is enhanced HD graphics. So let's go ahead and jump into the story. So without trying to give too much away about the story, because it is a huge part to the way Chrono Trigger functions. It is more of a parallel type universe where you have linear worlds exploring multiple different possibilities of what could have or should have happened. It takes place right after Chrono Trigger, and it takes place in an era where things are modern but fantastical at the same time. I really enjoy the story to this game, as being a huge fan of Chrono Trigger, it fits well with it, but it does have some inconsistencies and it does leave things open. It also plays off of one of the bad endings to Chrono Trigger, so if you're not happy with that, it may upset you with what happens. I do show a little bit of a spoiler at the end here with some of the dialogue, so be aware of that if you're not familiar with that game. The story in this game, though, is definitely worth playing, and it really gives you the breadth of it as you play through it. About the first 20-30 hours of the game, you're just going to be exploring Surge and what he knows of the world and what's been happening. But as you get to the end of the game, all of the interlocking pieces begin to mesh, and you'll begin to see all the cohesiveness that it has with Chrono Trigger. I really love the story to this game, but once again, it is something that you really have to experience with Chrono Trigger itself first before you dig back into this and understand everything going on. Let's talk graphics and animations. So back in the day, this game was one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful PlayStation 1 game ever. This game absolutely looks stunning on that console, and it blows my mind that it still holds up today, in my opinion. The artwork and the colors and everything they put into this game pop and look fantastic. I do have to mention the frame rate is a little wonky though, even though they did a lot of work with the updates on it, and the battle system is greatly improved in that area. There are some weird dips that you'll see, mainly in the cutscenes. The cutscenes they didn't really do a lot of work with them. They really look like the PS1 cutscenes. But that doesn't bother me, as I'm very familiar with them and I love them. If you're not familiar with old PS1 games though, this game may look a little rough to you. I love the fact though that they went back and spent a lot of time upgrading and fixing the battle system, because when it first released, it had a ton of issues. The performance was all over the place and it wasn't great. But now it looks fantastic and I didn't have any crashes. So let's do controls and audio. So first of all, we're going to start with the audio, and I absolutely love the music and all the sound effects in this game, and so I just really want to show some off, mainly the overworld theme here, as it's very reminiscent of Chrono Trigger and they took a lot of the same vibe and same feel for it. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Man, this music gives me chills. I absolutely love it. One of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Let's talk controls briefly, and the controls in this game are what you'd expect of an old RPG. They're very simplistic, you're mainly just navigating menus and navigating the world itself. They did update some of the features, now you don't have to hold down the button to run, and some of the other more simplistic things, but there's really not a lot to say here as the controls were good to begin with. There's not a lot that they could have really done and changed in it, but they work well for what they are. Let's talk combat now. So I love this battle system as it is very much one of a kind. Yes, it is a turn-based system, but it's very snappy and responsive. And it's not necessarily based on just power leveling your character. Instead, it's based on the strategy of utilizing the elements in which they're given. Each character has an innate element and their own special abilities, but you have a large element grid that you can allocate any of these abilities that you want to them. So if in essence, if you like a specific character, you can just use that one character through the whole game and give them all the abilities you need. It does cause weaknesses and strengths in certain bosses, and some characters are better for certain areas than others, mainly in specific the end boss, but that doesn't hold you back or keep you from playing the game. The other real big advantage to this is that it allows you to have so much flexibility with your party that you can utilize any of the over 40 characters you want to do the job that you need to. And you can figure out what characters are integral to the story you're trying to play. There are some characters that do call back to Chrono Trigger and play a big role, and other characters that are just nonsense fun. I love this because it's all about customization, it's all about picking out what you like about the game. There's so many different features to the combat in this game that I can't really get through them all right now, but I highly recommend going and just exploring and having a lot of fun with it. So let's go ahead and hit conclusion now. So in conclusion, this game is an absolute recommendation in my opinion. This game is one of the best classical RPGs of all time, and it really does do a good job trying to tell a parallel or alternative story to the end of Chrono Trigger. It doesn't fit in with the ending that I would have chosen, but it does fit for what they were trying to do with it. I love all the new enhancements, upgrades, and features to it, as seeing this game in HD and eliminating the old PS1 load times is a huge plus for me. This game is still reasonably priced, around $40 or $50, and I recommend getting the physical while you can, because I know when it goes out of print, this game will become valuable. There's enough people from my generation that remember it that would love to go back and visit it, so don't sit on it and wait. This game is a must-play, a must-buy, and it has a fantastic story along with amazing sound, one of the best soundtracks of all time, and a lot of fun to be had. So, go pick this up today and don't sleep on it. So thank you for watching today's video. It was a blast to make. I upload every single Monday. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And have a great rest of your day. This is Ogre27 Kane, signing out.